So Bill Maher has predicted that Kamala Harris will win the election. He obviously is a big opponent of Donald Trump. But on his show the other day, he had some comments for Kamala on her position on the issue of Gaza. Okay, interesting. I have a lot to say about that topic too. I'm kind of annoyed because she uses the rhetoric and the language of, oh, both sides and a reasonable solution for everybody and a two-state deal and blah, 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 human rights and justice for all, whatever, right? But ultimately, she's in the Biden administration. They're arming and funding Netanyahu as he commits war crime after war crime, and he commits genocide in Gaza, and he starts a war with Hezbollah in Lebanon. So that's my critique. What's Bill Maher's critique? You're not going to be surprised to learn it's a lot dumber, and it's effectively the opposite. Let's see what he had to say.
Here's what Kamala Harris said this week about what we should do when the war is over. No reoccupation of Gaza.
Is it just me, or did he say that like it's a bad thing? She doesn't even want to reoccupy Gaza, bro. You believe that?
No reoccupation of Gaza. No changing of the territorial lines of Gaza. And an ability to have security in the region for all concerned in a way that we create stability. I feel like if that's what you have to say, don't say anything. Just shut up. I mean, everybody who talks about Israel these days is just so full of I mean, or just not, I don't want children to die. Duh, who does? None of us want children to die. None of us want this war to go on. But it's not addressing what the problem is.
Bill Maher, I beg to differ. I do know some people who want children to die. For example, a guy named Bill Maher. Watch this. This came out the other week. Bill Maher's debating with Henry Winkler, a.k.a. the Fonz, on the issue of Israel. Listen to what he says.
About their prime minister. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Of course. You can talk about anything. That's what I love about this.
I really think that he knows if, God forbid, he steps down or the war is over, he's in jail.
I mean, that's possible, and we hear that a lot. I mean, it's interesting.
I believe it to my core.
Yeah, well, you don't know that could be the case. You don't know what's in a person's heart. Whether that's true or not, you can still be supportive of the decisions he's making, which I am.
Bro, nobody wants kids to die. Who does want kids to die? By the way, I support Netanyahu completely. What has Netanyahu done? 48,380 Palestinians in Gaza killed, including 16,008 children. 16,008 children. Bro, who wants kids to die? None of us want kids to die. I support Netanyahu 100%. He killed 16,008 children. Let me ask you, Bill Maher, was that an oopsie? He didn't mean it, bro. He didn't mean to kill the 10,351 women. He didn't mean to kill the 43,592 civilians. He didn't mean to kill the 16,008 children, bro. It was a mistake. It was an oopsie. It wasn't on purpose. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? I'm very comfortable saying Bill Maher is okay with kids being killed. I'm very comfortable saying that. I don't think it's even a slight stretch. I don't. If you're at this late date meat riding Netanyahu, and by the way, of course, Henry Winkler is right. Netanyahu knows the second this war is over, I'm done so. I got corruption charges against me. I'm going to lose my prime minister spot. It's a wrap. I'm done. Yeah, he has every incentive in the world to keep the war going. And by the way, I say war. It's not a war. It's a genocide. War implies two relatively roughly equal powers, right? It's not some people with slingshots and other people backed by the world's most powerful superpower in history. Jesus Christ. Bro, who wants kids to die, bro? All Kamala did was do the standard Democratic pablum. Two-state solution, justice for everybody. And he's like, ugh, disgusting. Disgusting. No. By the way, I love how unprompted it was. No, I don't want kids to die. None of us want kids to die. You're supporting the guy who's massacring kids on a daily basis. What a loathsome, loathsome freak. All right, let's watch more of this.
Very naive, I think, that this could go any other way.
Right.
And any other country in the world would not be expected to act any differently. If you get attacked, you get to fight back. And
fight back. Here's fighting back. 92,320 injured. 171 journalists murdered. They're fighting back. Displacing 1.95 million people out of 2.3 million. Destroying 171,500 homes. Partially destroying another 345,000 homes. 489 schools totally destroyed. This is fighting back. Fighting back. Attacking 32 hospitals is fighting back. No, Bill. That's called in indiscriminate slaughter and massacre. That's called genocide. That's called they're all guilty enough. I think they're all Hamas. Close enough. If you're 7, close enough. In the future, you'll be Hamas. We're going to kill you. Bro, they're fighting back. Nobody, he does the classic, like, the most moral army in the world, bro. Nobody else would expect to act any different, bro. Literally every country on earth, if they had these numbers with this much death and destruction on purpose, every country in the world would call them a rogue state and disavow them and probably wage sanctions. And if this was an official U.S. enemy state, we would have done regime change months ago. He's so smug. Holy shit.
The war doesn't end when you start fighting back, which they always want with Israel. You know, when somebody...
You know what? A lot of what you're saying is true. However, I think that, there are parents, there are families that are hurting because the hostages are not
Yes, and it's the job of a statesman and a leader and a prime minister to think long term and not just short term. Like, if they don't eliminate Hamas...
They're not going to eliminate Hamas. Hamas is an idea, not a group of people.
That's a bullshit thing.
It's not bullshit.
Well, let me tell you something. They've said that for years. I just read, I think, Sam Harris on this, and he said it right.
I know Sam.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the very objective Sam Harris, who's just really spot on this issue.
I like
love Sam. Great. I'm glad we both do. Yeah. And he said this thing we've heard a lot of times. You can't kill an idea. He said, well, we did after World War II.
Until now.
We did kill a lot of Japanese, and that was unfortunate.
Right.
But, I mean, if you do kill enough lunatics, and they...
Bro, we killed an idea after World War II. Nobody in the world anymore is a Nazi. That no longer exists. It wasn't the case that just like last week, the Republican presidential candidate was on the debate stage repeating literal neo-Nazi talking points from a group called Blood Tribe, and J.D. Vance, the VP, wasn't doubling down and tripling down and quadrupling down on it. It's not the case that there's 4chan message boards in the alt-right and white nationalists and white supremacists. It's not the case that this is a growing problem, far-right extremists who are like Nazis. It's not the case that Twitter right now is filled with literal Nazi propaganda 24/7. Bro, we killed the idea completely, bro. Oh my God. And by the way, let's be clear. Let's be kind here. For argument's sake, let's say they totally destroy Hamas. Well, in the process of quote unquote destroying Hamas, you end up massacring what? 400,000, 500,000, 600,000 civilians, something like that. Is that a price worth paying? Then, let me ask you, even if you destroy Hamas, why wouldn't the very next move of the people who lost family members and are pissed off at Israel for massacring their loved ones, why wouldn't they start Hamas 2.0? Hamas is just a stand-in for militant Palestinian resistance, right? That's what Hamas is. Before Hamas, there was the PLO. We've killed the PLO. Okay, but then that morphed into Hamas, which honestly in many ways might be worse than the PLO. The PLO, for all their problems, they were secular, right? Hamas is not. Hamas is an Islamist group. So we destroyed Hamas. Okay. Palestinian resistance will just take us another avenue. It'll be a different group under a different name with the same goals of we're going to strike back at you because you killed my grandma, right? So this is like he thinks like a child. He thinks like a child.
Japan was led by lunatics, died of the last person and a lot of suicide bombing and all that. Very similar to what we see with radical Muslims.
Right.
Suicide bombing, cult of martyrdom.
Right.
Okay, so...
Yeah, I love this. Has he said a single fucking thing about the extremist illegal Israeli settlers? A single thing about the Likud party? A single thing about the IDF, which is probably right now the largest terrorist organization in the world? This is a group that was torturing Palestinians to death, including anal grape. Nothing to say about them. The Muslims and the martyrdom. And nothing. For a guy, Mr. Atheist, bro, I'm against religious thinking. I'm against magical thinking. But this one group in the region, which claims they have a divine biblical right to the area, who are expanding into Palestinian territory with their goofy hats and their beards and illegally taking land. Them, bro, they're just reasonably standing up against the big bad Muslims, bro. Weird, the religious criticism only cuts in one direction. It doesn't go in both directions. Very strange. And by the way, let's be serious. Just discussing this through the lens of religion, this conflict, is the dumbest fucking thing you can do. It's a part of it, but it's nowhere near the whole thing.
Japan became our good friend. So let's not pretend that you can't actually get to the root of this. It is difficult.
I'm not pretending.
No.
I truly believe that in
you
this
will not-
particular case,
you will not-
you don't think that all those people that are now homeless and their families are destroyed, you don't think that they are now
I think you have to make
Hamas
calculations.
again?
Of course, absolutely. That is going to happen. You are also
So
recruiting.
you want to kill every human being?
No. Is that what I said?
No, but I think it is what you were leading to.
No, it is certainly not what I'm leading to. What I'm saying
If
is,
we kill enough of them, we're going to end Hamas.
I didn't say that either.
I think you did.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
You said it.
You want to play it back?
Yeah, I
I
didn't.
didn't say that.
I didn't say
I
that.
did not say if you kill enough of them, that the Hamas is
No,
over.
what I said was the idea that you can't kill an idea.
Oh, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's what I was objecting to.
Right.
And I was quoting Sam talking
Right.
about the fact that
You
after
know, World War II, we did not kill Nazism.
Yeah, we did.
Except for like a moment.
But-
It's back almost in every country.
back in a tiny fringe.
Oh.
I mean, if you expect perfection,
I don't expect a perfection.
Well, then it's a silly argument.
I believe
But also, let's be clear, the war against Nazi Germany was moral and ethical and just. You literally had an expansionist regime based on racial domination and hierarchy. It's like the stuff you learn about them just basically being the world's most evil regime. It was true. It was true. In the case of Israel and Palestine, Israel is repeatedly and routinely stealing more Palestinian land and subjugating them and oppressing them and instituting apartheid. And they're being aggressive, right? So the idea that like Nazis and Hamas are perfectly comparable and what Israel and the allied forces are perfect. No, Israel is a genocidal, theocratic, fundamentalist, apartheid ethnostate. That's what it is. So the idea, do you drape them in like these democratic, modern Enlightenment values is preposterous.
Well, that's not true.
Well,
but
it
I believe that we are going to experience another Kristallnacht, and could very well experience it here.
Well, there's a lot of anti-Semitism, and that comes from people like Hamas.
Yeah, I see.
So, I mean, again, when you're a leader, you have to think long term.
Right.
If you don't know, they've prosecuted this war for 11 months, as we're recording this in September
Right.
of 2024. So they're at the final stage. They're in the South. Yes, there are probably still, 80, 90 hostages left.
Right, 100.
It's horrible to think of the situation they've been in, and if we can't get
So
them
in
out.
other words-
Again, if I could just finish.
Yes.
They can get them out. It's Netanyahu who's not in favor of a deal. This is lying. He's lying and obfuscating to protect Netanyahu. You could have the hostages today.
All right.
You have to think in terms of long-term and numbers. Like those 100 people, we wouldn't want anyone to die, but
Those hostages, we wouldn't want any of them to die. But what, Billiam? But what, Billithin? Here we go.
what if we let Hamas off the hook and then it gets worse and 10,000 die? That's how.
10,000.
Well, in the future. In other words, if they are able to stage more attacks.
I see.
If you-
10,000 more Israelis.
You've gone, yeah.
See, Andrew, so you're really concerned about the Israeli death count, the Israeli one, not the 43,000 Palestinian civilians that are already dead. Those are, bro, what are you going to do? Got to break a couple legs to make an omelet, bro.
You've gone this far for 11 months. And my question to people who have this argument is always, do you know what's going on really underneath Gaza in all the tunnels and how close they are?
I do not know.
I don't either. But you know who does know? The Israeli Defense Force.
They very clearly do not, because they've been carpet bombing above those tunnels and killing civilians relentlessly. It's almost like they don't care. It's almost like they see no difference between Palestinian civilians and Hamas. Almost. So here's Bill Maher defending every single step of the way, every decision Netanyahu has made, which, again, let me reiterate, killed 16,008 kids. And let me remind you what Bill Maher said, responding to Kamala Harris's banal comments on Israel and Palestine. Listen to what he says. Ready? Here we go.
I feel like if that's what you have to say, don't say anything. Just shut up. I mean, everybody who talks about Israel these days is just so full of.
Yeah, people like you.
I mean, or just not, I don't want children to die. Duh, who does? None of us want children to die. None of us want this war to go on. But it's not addressing what the problem is.
What I can't stand is how chicken shit he is with it. Just own it. Just own it. Yeah, I agree with Israel. I agree with Netanyahu. And I'm fine with the children dying. I'm fine with the Palestinians dying, the innocent civilians. I'm fine with it. the fact of the matter is he has dehumanized them, right? He has dehumanized them. He doesn't care. But when in a corner like here, when he's criticizing Kamala Harris, bro, I don't want any kids to die. I just happen to support the person and the policies that'll bring about way more kids dying, bro. Why did you? I hate people who are so chicken shit when it comes to their politics. Just fucking say it. Just say it. Stop being so weaselly about it. He's such a weasel. But guys, this is what we've seen time and time again. Bill Maher does this. Donald Trump does this. The attacks against Kamala Harris on the issue of Israel and Palestine are coming from her right. Everybody in the political establishment, bro, you're not pro-Israel enough. You're not bombing enough kids, bro. What's wrong with you, bro? That's what their stance is. And all she's like, hey, two-state solution, justice for all. Oh, how dare you? The real legitimate criticism of her is from her left for being part of the Biden administration, as the Biden administration arms and funds Israel no matter what they do. So, anyway, there you have it. Bill Maher is a total joke. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.